What's going on, guys? Welcome to Golden Setups. I'm your host, Golden Focus, here with another next day setups. All right, these setups are going to be for tomorrow. Today is Monday, the 29th. Tomorrow is Tuesday, the 30th. So these are going to be setups for not only tomorrow, but probably this entire week. And so we're going to be looking at some high time frames and be looking at some opportunities here. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. All right, guys, we're over here looking at US30. Right now, we're looking at it on the daily time frame. I gotta say, it looks pretty strong right now. I'm watching this trend line right here. If we are able to break above this trend line and we're strong, I do have a target set here, and I do have an alert set on this target. So just in case I'm not watching it, I'll go ahead and get the notifications. But let me set an alert on this trend line as well. Once we cross above there, I want to know if that's going to happen. I want to be alerted, and so that's what I'm looking for. I'm watching this. This looks, in my opinion, it looks pretty strong. Big move to the upside. You know, we tried to break down, couldn't break down below that trend line that's over here, and so now we're pushing back up. And this looks like flag language to me. Looks like we're going to be headed back up. I would say 34,117. And that's to be conservative. I think we have a lot. I got a bigger target up here of 36,561, and so we'll see. I mean, this is like this is not gonna. I don't think this is gonna happen in one day. This definitely seems like a multi-week swing right here. So shout out to you swing traders. That's gonna be US30 there. Let's look at Lockheed Martin. So I was checking out Lockheed Martin because I saw that the defense budget didn't get cut. Actually, they added to it. So I was looking at it for a possibility that we could move up. If we do move up, and that's the case, all right, I'm going to be looking at this trend line over here for a move to the upside if we're going to be strong. But otherwise, I got to say that it looks pretty weak right now. It looks pretty weak. We dropped down below this trend line. We came back up, retested not only the trend line, but we retested the 9. That's this red line over here. So my yellow line is my 20. My red line is my 9. We retested the 9 and the trend line, same place, rejected off of there. And so what we could be seeing starting tomorrow is we could see the beginning of a 3-bar play if we're going to be weak. If that's the case, your entry is going to be around 442.88, and you can take that down. Where's a good place to take that down? Looking left over here, I say 437. 437 would be a good place. I'm actually going to put a target over here. If we are weak, that's a good place to take it. And again, your entry would be at 442.88, somewhere like that. So that means that we would have like a red candle here, and then this is where your entry point would be. I mean, it could be a 4-bar play. I'm not sure which way it's going to move, but like I said, I'm going to be watching for price to be able to retract. I'll look for a 3-bar play for a week. If we're strong, we're going to see a break above this trend line, and a break above this trend line, and a break above the 20, and even a break above this 200-day moving average, which is the purple line. So we got a few signs of strength to look for, and just one sign of weakness if we're going to continue to the downside for Lockheed Martin. Let's look at Qualcomm. All right, Qualcomm, are we strong or are we weak? Right now, I got to say that we are in the more immediate term. We are looking pretty strong. We're trying to fill this gap. It appears that we're trying to fill this gap. We did create another one right over here. I just want to pull that over and make sure I have that documented over here. So these boxes over here, these teal boxes are my gap boxes. And let me go ahead and just make sure I go ahead and document. These are my gap boxes, and it looks like we're trying to fill this gap here. Ultimately, are we looking strong or are we looking weak? Like I said, I think that we're looking more immediately strong right now, looking at the daily. But looking at the grand scheme of things, this does not look that strong. So I do see a case where we could be very weak, and if that's the case, if we're weak, what I'm expecting is a hit of this trend line. That's why I got an alert over here. These orange -9s are my alerts. So I would like to see this gap be filled. I want to know what's going to happen once we fill this gap. Maybe we'll push up a little bit, and if we are weak, we'll reject back down. We'll take care of this gap. We got another huge gap below us here, and that's what I'm going to be watching for. I'm not saying that we can actually drop, but we got a nice little big one-day gap. We're very close to it. Looks like we tried to get down here quite a few times, and so and looks like this drop was very aggressive. It was so aggressive. Here we are trying to fill this gap, but as we're moving up, I can definitely see a use case where we're repairing this price action on the way down and it continues to be weak. So I'm going to be watching for that. I'm looking at this alert over here set at 112.27. And then I have an initial target of 101.48 if I do see the signs of weakness. And what I'll be looking for, I'll scale down to the hourly. And what I would look for is, I'm going to draw this trend line over here. Okay, I'm going to be looking for a break of that trend line. Okay, for Qualcomm, if we're gonna be weak, you know, I can see us definitely dropping down to 101.54 if we break down below that. Let's move on. Let's look at Bud Light. Man, Bud Light, man. Just gotta make it about beer, man. Once you start making it about other stuff, you know, people just want to drink beer, man. They don't want to drink ideologies, man. People don't want to drink ideologies. But anyhow, this is what Bud Light is looking like right now. We're looking at it on the daily. Looks like the beginning of a lot of weakness. I have a target down here that you guys can see roughly around $54. I see a case for us being weak. So first I want to see us go ahead and maybe try to take some gaps. But there's a lot of selling going on here. So I'm going to be, I'll scale down from the daily. I'll come down to the hourly, and if it looks like we're flagging just a bit, kind of like how we flagged over here, nice little flag, and then we had a nice big drop over here. Could we be doing that again? I would say that based off of what I'm seeing right now, it definitely does look like that. We could push up and try to fill up some gaps up here that we saw on the daily, but I'll be watching this trend line right here. I'll set an alert on this trend line right here. I'm going to be watching that. And, if we drop below that, then, we could be continuing the stair step all the way down. Let's look at Uber. All right, let's look at Uber. Does Uber look weak or strong? I got to say Uber does look strong right now at the moment. We had a nice little, we did something very similar over here, right? And so we had a nice little retracement back, and then we broke up above and moved up. Then after we moved up, we had this big move up again. We had a nice little flag, and we had a continuation, and here we are, big retracement down, very healthy retracement down. I'm not sure what happened here, big move over here, but we came back down, not able to stay below this trend line, and it appears to me that we're going to be moving up. I got a target up here of 40. All right, we'll see if we can make it. 40 on Uber. Right now, to me, Uber is looking fairly strong. Yeah, I gotta say it's looking fairly strong, above the 9, above the 20, and it's just slightly below the VWAP right now, but I gotta say it's looking pretty strong, and I see a use case for us to move up with Uber, and I do have an alert set on this target. Let's go ahead and look at Alibaba. Alibaba looks a little weak, in my opinion. I got this trend line drawn. If we're going to continue to be weak, we're going to break below this trend line. I can see us dropping as low as 78.10. If you happen to take this play, I'd be taking profits to my target. I wouldn't be waiting exactly for it to hit target, but if you want, you can hold a runner and let that one rock all the way down. Alibaba looks weak to me. Let's go ahead and move over to Roku. All right. Roku right now, I gotta say, does it look weak or does it look strong? Let's look at the daily. Let's get a little bit of higher time frame view here. And I gotta say, this right here does not look very strong to me. It doesn't look very strong to me. We had a big drop down. We tried to move up over here, right around there. We tried to move up, and here we are. We had a nice little retracement back down, trying to move up. I'm watching this trend line right here on Roku. Again, I'm on the daily time frame, and I'm watching this trend line right here on Roku. I do have an alert on it. If we're weak, we're going to be breaking down into that. If we're strong, I can see us breaking above either 59.40 or 60.30. Somewhere in here, we're going to be using support and continuing to the upside. But this has been holding up as support for quite some time, and old support becomes new resistance, which we did here. Could we be going back up here, retesting this as resistance, and then continuing down? I think that's a viable setup as well, and so that's what I'm waiting for. Break of this trend line for weakness, support of up here, just like we did once over here. If we see up here support, I think that'll be a great setup, a great entry right there. Let's check out Netflix. All right, Netflix. Is Netflix looking weak or strong? I gotta say Netflix is looking pretty strong. We had a nice break of this trend line that I drew here from last time, and we pushed right up into this daily supply zone. All right, now we got two supply zones. I got a daily supply zone here and a weekly supply zone up here. So, if these supply zones, if there's like a massive amount of sell orders here and we end up rejecting, what am I looking at? I have a trend line over here that I'm going to be paying attention to. We break down below this trend line. I can see us filling this gap, and then at the very minimum hitting this trend line or the 200-day moving average over here. But if we're going to continue to be strong, we're going to continue to push up. I really don't see much resistance outside of this supply zone. I mean, I think we can maybe hit 396.37. I think it's going to be either A, it's going to be a struggle and we'll just, be floating up, so to speak, or B, we're going to see, a crazy amount of strength out of nowhere. Either one or the other is going to have to be violent, or they're going to have to like chop their way up. But anyhow, we'll see how that turns out. That's Netflix. Let's look at Exxon Mobil. Is Exxon Mobil looking strong or weak? I got to say, Exxon looks pretty weak. Looking at what I have here, I'm watching this trend line right here. Even so, I can even let's come over here and set this up real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and take my horizontal ray, and I'm gonna go ahead and put this here, and I'm gonna set this up as an entry over here, alert entry, right there. And I think that'll be a good entry right there. Nice entry here for puts or to go short, take profits somewhere around here, 103.08. We do have a demand zone down here, so could we drop all the way down here? I think that's definitely in the realm of possibilities for sure. We came up, we retested the 9, we worked our way all the way up to the 20, we rejected the 20 pretty strong, and here we are now getting ready to break this to the downside. So keep a watch for this 104.68. If we break down below that, I think that's going to be a nice little drop there. And if you want, you could. Any entries now would be very aggressive. I'm just going to put that out there. It'll be aggressive. And this would be more of a conservative entry. That's a setup that I see that I like on Exxon Mobil. Let's go ahead and move up to, all right, let's see Bitcoin right now. Let's see what's going on with Bitcoin. All right, does Bitcoin look weak or does it look strong? I gotta say Bitcoin does look fairly strong right now. We talked about if it was weak coming back down to 25,285. All right, 25K, 285. First we actually talked about 26,571. We hit that level. That's a level on my chart here. We hit that level really nice, and we weren't able to stay below it. We tried to move down. This was the next level that I had, 25K, 285. We couldn't get down here. We could not get down here, so we pushed back up. I have a trend line drawn across multiple. This is the daily, so this is several days here. This is even several weeks. So I'm watching this trend line. If we're going to be strong, we're going to break up above this trend line, and I can see us, hitting this target right here. If we're strong, we do have a daily supply zone up here, so we could definitely reject as far as that's concerned. And so if you're looking to take some profits, make some quick money here, I'd watch this trend line. I think that's a great setup. But if we're weak, I can see us breaking down below this trend line, and at the very minimum, coming back to 26,571.55. Let's check out silver. All right, is silver looking strong or weak? I gotta say silver looks pretty weak. We do have a demand zone, is really thick, albeit over here. I'm gonna actually look at silver on the weekly, more of a higher time frame here, and you can see silver looks very weak in my opinion. Very, very, very weak. I can see a first target over here being around 22.6, and I can see us coming all the way back to the trend line, making a first stop over here at the 200-day moving average, and then after that to the trend line. We got a demand zone here. We could definitely pick up a lot of buy orders, and then we can see a bounce off of this trend line to the upside. That's what I see there as far as silver is concerned. Let's look at gold. All right, gold. Let me zoom in on gold a little bit. I did have a setup here that I put in the free Telegram channel. You guys should definitely check that out. So with gold, I did have 3 targets here with gold, breaking down to the downside. So here's my target 1. I put this alert out there, this signal, not too long ago when we were up here, when price was up here. So we did break down and we hit target 1. Are we going to hit target 2 and target 3? I think that's in the realm of possibilities, being that we got bought up really big over here. There is something down here. I could definitely say much like a demand zone. I'm gonna go ahead and just like throw that in here somewhere around here like this. There's something down here where we keep getting bought back up. Let me hit this as a demand zone. All right, and so I have this. Even though I have my targets over here, should we break down again? Keep in mind if we break down again, it's risky at this point. This just became a lot riskier because of how we got bought back up above the trend line, which is a good show of strength. And so we got to see. I'm watching the top of this trend line. If we're going to be strong, we'll break above it, and we know we could continue as high as 1956. But we got to watch. We got to watch to see what's going on with this trend line here. Should we continue to move up if that's the case? Target 2 and target 3. Question marks right now. It's question marks right now. It's just seeing how we got bought up when we dropped down to target 1. Let's check out Meta. All right, how's Meta looking? I've been talking with you guys for weeks so far, weeks on this gap that Meta's in. Beautiful swing. I'm not sure how clean the ride is going to be, but what a swing opportunity. If you want to take it to 50%, if you want to take it to 75%, 80%, I think that's a great swing opportunity, but a good entry. I would wait for some type of pullback to the 9 or pullback to the 20, either on the hourly, or let's check it out on the daily, or even on the daily. But look at that, beautiful continuation and run up. All right, as far as Meta's concerned. So Meta's looking pretty strong. Let's check out Microsoft. All right, looking at Microsoft. We're looking at Microsoft on the daily. Is Microsoft looking weak or strong? I gotta say Microsoft is looking strong. I even had to do some charting here. The red lines are my alpha levels or strong levels, and my gray lines are my beta levels. They're a little bit weaker, right? They're a little bit weaker, but nevertheless, they are very, very good key levels. And so we got a daily demand zone up here at 341.24 or 0.19 rather. Could we be moving all the way up Microsoft to here? I think that's possible. I think that's definitely in the realm of possibilities. We do have a 1-day gap below us here, but we would need to be able to reject hard to be able to come back down here. And then we have a demand zone. So if we do come back down here, I can see us filling a gap, hopping into this demand zone, and then we'll get a continuation back up, bouncing off of these trend lines. I'm just extending these trend lines so I can watch and monitor what's going on. All right, and we'll see how all this plays out. As far as Microsoft is looking strong to me. I can see a more initial target of 334.30, and then we got 336.69. Very strong level there. If you're in calls or if you're going long, I think that's a great place to take profits. All right, let's go ahead and move over to QQQ. All right, looking at QQQ. All right, QQQ is definitely looking strong. Let me go ahead and zoom out a little bit. I did put some fibs and fib extensions. All right, looking at, could we come all the way back up to 353? I think that's definitely possible. 353. We do got a gap up here. Are we going to be going up here trying to fill the gap, and then are we going to get a rejection from there back to the gap down here? That's possible, but right now I got to say that it looks pretty strong. QQQ looks pretty strong, and I can see us, moving up quite a bit at the very minimum to start. I got a key strong, my alpha level or my strong level 350.23. That's going to be the first target to start. And again, I think that we're looking strong as far as QQQ. Let's check out AMD. All right, same thing. AMD is looking pretty strong. We do have a 1-day gap down here on AMD. Looks like we're headed up to this 1-day supply zone. Could we reject out of here and move back down? Are we a bit exhausted on this big run with these chips and whatnot? We'll see if that's the case. But we got a nice, beautiful, clean supply zone over here, and we're gonna see what we're gonna do. So if you're thinking about going long, hey, feel free to go long up into this zone. You might want to take profits as you're on your way up there, and then after that, I'm gonna be looking for some type of bear flag or trend line break to the downside to be able to take it down at least. If we're gonna come back and retest 122.54. But again, I might be getting ahead of myself. Right now, AMD looks strong, but I'm paying attention and watching the supply zone. Let's check out NVIDIA. All right, huge gap NVIDIA left on the daily right now. I can see a use case coming back up to 394.73, but typically when we have these big moves up, we tend to we tend to have a little bit of a cool down, you know. So just one thing I'm kind of watching, waiting and listening for, I'm waiting for people to talk about NVIDIA to $10,000, NVIDIA to $1,000. Like once we start getting that type of craze, and then, you know, I'm going to be a lot more bearish. But right now I'm taking NVIDIA one step at a time, and I can see a case for us being strong. 394.94 back up to there, and then after that, the next target here would be 403.16. Just looking at these fib extension levels. So we'll see how that plays out. Otherwise, if we're going to be weak, I'm going to be scaling down to the hourly here, and I'm going to be looking for, you know, a break of, let's get this trend line up. All right, that's nice. Okay, I'm going to be looking for a break of this trend line. If we're going to be weak for NVIDIA, I'm going to add an alert over here on this trend line. And, you know, if price does find itself, you know, up here, rejecting up here like it did 1, 2, you know, 3 times, 4 times at this level over here, if it does and we happen to, you know, drop, you know, we got quite a ways to go. You know, we can still drop, you know, and fill this gap and then move back up again if we want to, if we don't break down below this trend line. So let's keep an eye on that. Let's check out Apple. Almost done, guys. Almost done. Apple. Does Apple look weak or strong? Apple's powering through this daily supply zone. I gotta say, Apple looks strong right now. I'm watching this trend line. Here on Apple. All right. I'm gonna actually set an alert on this trend line, because if we break above that, I can definitely see us hitting this target of I could say like roughly around 175.65 or 175.76 something. Actually, I'm sorry, 175.65. I can see us coming up that high at the very minimum if we're going to be continuing to move up. But I got to say, Apple looks very, very, very strong. Let me look at the daily on Apple. Yeah, Apple definitely looks strong for sure. You know, even a use case, can we see Apple to 182.93? I think that is not outside of the realm of possibilities at this moment. So let's continue to watch Apple. Let's look at Amazon. All right, guys. Amazon is looking really nice, I gotta say. This is Amazon on the daily. Is looking pretty strong. Let's scale down to the hourly. All right. I can see I do have an alert set here. You know, right now I can see us, you know, hitting what is this, 121.29. I can see a possibility of that happening, and so I have my target here. And I gotta say, Apple looks pretty strong. I mean, Amazon, I'm sorry, looks really strong. I don't see any weakness right now at this moment. Let's check out Google. Google, same thing, looking pretty strong. I really want to see what Google's going to do up here in this 1 hour supply zone from 126.09 all the way up to 126.43. I really want to see what Apple's going to do up here. You know, I think a really good setup would be, you know, we get up here with Apple. I'm going to go ahead and draw a secondary trend line here just to kind of track the trend. You know, I'd love to see us ride this trend here, reject Apple, break down, go from, you know, this trend line to this trend line, and then break down and at least come down to somewhere around 123.48. You know, that's something that I would like to see. I'll even set an alert there to see if that's even possible. But yeah, that's what I would like to see with Apple. I think that would be a good setup. Otherwise, I gotta say, Apple is looking fairly strong, and I do see a use case in the more immediate time for us coming all the way up to this 126.10 or 0.9. I do see a use case of us getting back up here, you know, so calls or going long. All right, let's look at Tesla. All right, is Tesla looking weak or is Tesla looking strong? I gotta say, Tesla does look pretty strong. Big move on Friday, and here we are. You know, we had a really big rejection. Let me go to the daily just to kind of show you guys, give you guys a little bit more insight. You know, why I like looking at the higher time frames. You know, I had this trend line, if you would, across the tops of these candles here, and you can see the second we hit the trend line, we hit the 200-day moving average, we rejected pretty heavily. You know, even I have this trend line over here because, you know, these trend lines are very strong diagonal key levels. That's how I see it, that's how I teach it, and it's how it plays out and how it shows up. And so a lot of confluence in this area, a lot of trend line crosses, and even the moving average right here, we had a big rejection right there. And so, you know, could we possibly see a continuation move up? We've been channeling this whole time, broke up out of the channel, and now here we are looking to break up above this trend line. And so, you know, could we possibly be breaking up above here and then moving to this trend line right here, which, let me go ahead and show you the weekly, show you what I got on the weekly here. and where that trend line is coming from. Could we be, here's a big push up, are we flagging and then continuation to the upside? I think that's possible. I think that's not outside of the realm of the possibilities for Tesla. So I'm playing Tesla by ear. I'm watching it very carefully, and we'll see. I'm watching the hourly here. This supply zone is dead because we've eaten through it. So I'm going to move that back. I want to see if we're going to be strong, a continuation up from the 9 to the upside. If we're going to be weak, obviously we're going to break down below the 9, below the VWAP, and also below the 20. That's going to be our first sign of weakness. We're going to hit the top of this channel and then even break back into this channel. But we did break back into this channel last week, and we couldn't stay down here. Bounced out of this demand zone, and we've been moving up ever since. So we'll see how that plans out. All right, let's look at SPX. All right, we do have a 1 hour gap on SPX that we're trying to fill. Is it a high probability play? Usually these gaps are, but this gap is from a while ago, from a very long time ago. Actually, where is it from? I'm not gonna scroll all the way back there. It's from a while ago. And so we're looking to fill this hourly gap, and we'll see if we can actually get up there and fill it. Right now, does SPX look weak or strong? Right now, I see a use case for us actually being very strong. Let me come up to the daily real quick, and you can see what's going on. A little bit of a channel, little bit of a channel here. Come on, let's move. A little bit of a channel here, right? A little bit of a channel. So, could we be moving up to fill up these two gaps? I think that's not outside the realm of possibilities. I'm watching this very closely. If we're going to be strong, I'm going to be looking for, a bull flag on the lower time frames to get in and take those gains. You guys know that I trade SPX almost exclusively sometimes. All right, let's look at ES. How's ES looking right now? Is ES looking strong or weak? I gotta say ES is looking fairly strong. We have a demand zone up here, supply zone rather, at 42.95. Are we headed up in that direction to hit that supply zone? Are we gonna move up? Right now, I gotta say, yeah, I think that's a strong possibility. I don't know how clean it's gonna be. We're looking at on the daily, so I'm not sure how clean it's gonna be. But you know me, I'm gonna be looking for bull flags to the upside if we're gonna be strong. If we're gonna be weak, I got my trend line drawn here that I'm going to be watching right here. If we're going to be weak, we'll break down below this trend line right here, and then we're going to be coming back down to the top of this wedge that we've just been fighting every time. Here's this wedge right here. Look at how much chop is on this wedge. So every time we got an opportunity to break down in here and actually come down and hit the bottom of this wedge, it just failed. It just no, we're not doing that. So we got to trade what we see. Right now we're looking strong. We've broken up out of the wedge, probably for, what is this, the 1, 2, third time. This is the third time. So I got to say right now, ES looks strong. I see a strong use case. First stop, what is this, 42.49. Second stop, 42.59. Third stop, 42.68. And then I believe we're going to be moving all the way back up into this supply zone. I just don't know how clean it's going to be. Let's check out SPY. Same thing with SPY. Here we are, looking at the higher time frames. We do got a gap up here as well. Could we be moving up to fill that gap? I think that's very likely as far as SPY is concerned. All right, guys, that's been my next day setup. I've been talking to you guys for quite a while. Just wanted to give a special shout out to all those who finished up the second series of the live coaching and education that we did, the VIP sauce session 2 that we did. Let me show you that real quick. All right, yeah, let me show this to you real quick. So this is goldensetups.com. This is my hub, and you come over here to sauce sessions. I already did the 3 ultra profitable setups to double your account. So that one's done. Right now we're processing that, turning that into something special. Right now we just finished up last week, chart the best levels that keep you precise and profitable. That was pretty awesome. We had a few 3-figure percentage trades from my students, and so that was really cool. What's coming up, we just finished that, by the way. Lots of great news, profits, people and the positive people. Check out the free Telegram channel, by the way. You can come over here to social, click on free Telegram. You'll see the testimonials. You'll see what people are saying and what type of results they're getting. So I'm definitely not trying to give you anything outside of 10x value. That's my goal. Anytime I'm doing anything with you guys, I want to give you guys 10x value. The next thing that we're going to be doing is the winning trend lines and demand zones. So what you guys see me doing with the next day setups, just showing you how I do all of this, my trade system, showing you how I do all of this. And so if you guys want to participate in that, sign up to the free Telegram channel. Guess what? It costs 5 easy payments of free. All right, it's completely free. All right, I'm going to be busy working with the masterclass for a few weeks, and then after that, we'll be able to put a schedule or date on the schedule for the next VIP SAW sessions. So anyhow, we do live trades on Friday. We had a lot of fun this Friday. We're going to have a lot of fun next Friday. For those of you guys want to have one-on-one coaching, one-on-one mentoring, come over here. Feel free to book a session, and we'll walk through what's going on. And then we got our weekly newsletters, and very similar to what we do here on the next day setups, but a little bit more detail in newsletter format. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for your time. You could have been watching any video in YouTube, but you decide to watch this one here with me, and I am very grateful and appreciative for that. And without any further ado, guys, don't forget to trade the setup, trade confident, and don't forget to live life. Take care.
Golden Setups.